And welcome back. We are joined this morning by the People's United Party's mayoral candidate for Belize City, former Mayor Bernard Wagner. He's here with us as our first conversationalist to discuss what the People's United Party municipal slate for Belize City is looking like. Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Wagner.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Great to be here along yourself on the Open Your Eyes show.
How you feeling?
Feeling good. Today is, I believe in the United States, they call it Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday. All
So
right.
tomorrow will be Super Wednesday for us.
Super Wednesday.
Good. And so we're all anticipating Super Wednesday. Where I want to begin from is the Manifesto launch on Monday. I know that you guys were energized yesterday when you presented your schedule. I prefer calling a manifesto a schedule, right? Because it's a plan of action that you'll take over the three-year term once you're re-elected. Let's start there. Let's talk about the Stay on Track Manifesto and what it seeks to do for residents of Belize City.
Okay, great question, Isani. The Stay on Track Manifesto really our document put together, not by us, but by our interactions and campaigning on the campaign trail with the people. We have always been about the people, and every moves we make, any initiatives, any activities we do is centered around having it being people-centered and community-centered and city-centered. Those are the 3 C's that we really go by. And we wanted to capture what are some of the relevant issues facing Belize City residents. We have put in a lot of work, but still many things are left undone. And so we wanted to have the residents tell us point blank where are some of our shortcomings. Because it's always important to assess and see where you are in respect to your goals, your outcomes, how did the outcomes. And the residents clearly was saying that we need to get back to the basics. We need to get back to the shaping of the drains, cleaning out of the drains on a more normal basis, cutting the grass, having the cemetery cut, ensuring that drains and neighborhoods are in a good state of mind. And that was what we captured here in our manifesto. But more than that, it was about realizing the tandem of working together with a national government. That is key. That is a winning formula. That is a formula that drives development in any modern city. When you have national and subnational governments with the same political persuasion, development happens for the residents of the city. And some of the items that we captured within our manifesto really speaks to having that great synergy working along with our national government. Because we know we cannot do the Balkan Bridge by ourselves. It has to be a collaboration between different entities, different stakeholders. The swing bridge, again, cannot be done by a municipality, but rather through the national government. And so there are many points captured in our manifesto, Isani, that really drives home working along in tandem with a national government.
I understand what you're saying. To an extent, I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, it's arguable. Because at the end of the day, if you ask me, even if People's United Party slate does not win tomorrow, if you're looking at the fact that there should be some collaboration between local and central government, then theoretically it doesn't matter who or which persuasion, right? It's a matter of getting the job done for the people of the city, in this case, right?
But does that work? Does that really work?
Well,
That's on the ground.
That's where a level of political maturity comes to play. Because if at the end of the day, if you're blue and the other person is red, and I as a citizen need certain services to get done, I can't look upon who blue or who red. I am concerned about my well-being in the context of what's taking place.
And you are right.
Right?
You are right. You are right. And that is the way it should be. It should be that way. But again, when you are in government and you are sitting in City Hall, I went through it as a mayor in the 2018. We were under a UDP government. I believe one other mayor, probably Zinaida Moya, went through that same journey as myself, being at the subnational level and having a national government of different political persuasion there. So it really, it means, not necessarily mean it does not work, but it means that it takes a lot more ensuring that you collaborate, that you have meetings, that you have to do massaging, that sort of stuff very important. I just give one point that, and it speaks to your it's about diplomacy. If you are put in that context, it's about diplomacy. Because when I was in 2018, I was able to have a municipal security paper that went to the cabinet. And that paper was approved. So that again shows you some measure of maturity on both sides.
Certainly.
But in an ideal world, you really want to have the national government and the subnational government working in tandem. Take for instance, I'll give you an example. When Hurricane Lisa came and really destroyed the city, the municipality alone couldn't get that 65,000 tons of debris out of the city without the collaboration of the MIDH, without the collaboration of the BDF, the cane farmers, the Coast Guards. The Belize Tourism Board was one of the first entities that came on board and said, listen, Mayor, we need to work along with you to get the city cleaned up. Cruise ships are coming. So that again shows when national, subnational at the same level. When you look at the Gungulung, huge project, huge. We couldn't do it alone. It had to have different stakeholders at the national level. And that is the type of examples I'm speaking about.
I want to go back just a bit. I know Sabrina wants to get into, but one quick question here. And I think it's a matter of giving credit where credit is due, right? I'm a resident of Belize City. Perhaps the viewers who are watching are also from Belize City. In the wake of Hurricane Lisa, the manner in which Belize City was able to rebound from that disaster and the coming together, as you've mentioned, of the Belize City Council and all of these other stakeholders, I think that was commendable. And I'll hands down give you the credit that you deserve for leading and championing that whole cause. That was very, very commendable, right? So we're looking at the kind of municipal leadership that allows us to see these kinds of developments, where we're not only strong when things go well, but we're equally strong when things go wrong that are seemingly beyond our control. Nobody controls a natural disaster, it happens. But how well we're able to, show the resiliency of the people, how quickly we're able to rebound and get back to business or go back to work or normal lives. That's the kind of leadership that people are looking at. Right? Let's go in a slightly different direction at this point. You've had 3 years in office for your second term. You have the alignment of the People's United Party central government. Notwithstanding that, what were some of the challenges that you faced, despite the fact that, well, the stars are aligned, so to speak?
There's always, you have a period of adapting, obviously. The national government came in 2020. We won our second term in 2021. And so, obviously, when you have a period where there is adaptation and you're getting used to how we will have this thing work. together? How will we ensure that all of our efforts are focused on the people? And so national government coming in along with the different municipalities all across the country, you have a time period of adaptation of how we work together. And I sense that that was maybe be slow in us really recognizing each and every one of the roles that we play and how each and every one of our inputs really is a part of the output or a part of the outcomes. And when we have been able to discover that, it's important that we work together as a national and subnational for the benefit of all the residents. And when we say all the residents, it has to be across the board. I always tell people that when you become the mayor, and I read in a book from one of the mayors in Philadelphia, Mr. Nutter, that when you become the mayor, politics really hit the road, right? It hit the roads thereafter because you are hit immediately with the fact that now you serve everyone in the constituency, and Belize City is not easy. You have 10 constituency. You have to be able to meet the needs of different communities. I always say that the needs of Port Loyola residents are different than the needs of a Freetown, Caribbean Shores residents. And so you have to be nimble and be able to meet those specific needs in the different constituencies.
You have to look at socio-economic issues when you look at the map of Belize City and how it's drawn out by constituency. As you rightly mentioned, what takes place in Port Loyola and the residents there may very well be different than what takes place in Caribbean Shores, and their concerns vary based on the socio-economic nature of it.
A resident in, say for instance, Caribbean Shores or Freetown, I was speaking to one and he was saying, Mayor, the pothole, because he's driving his car on a street, maybe decent, but has potholes, need the potholes fixed. Then there is this resident in the Crewman, end of Penn Road area, Jane Usher, that only wants a street, and they are not concerned about which type of streets they get, even if it's a clear street or it's a hardcore streets. They're just tired of walking on London bridges. So you have to be able to balance and understand the different needs of the different constituencies.
And how do you do that when a large stream of that resources comes from the taxpayers? Let's talk about the challenge that you faced or the process that you took to acquire resources to give back to this municipality.
Well, most of the resources from the city is through our autonomous authority in respect to property taxes, in respect to trade license, in respect to liquor license, and traffic fees. Those are the four autonomous revenue streams that we control. We have other streams in terms of the subvention and in terms of the BTB head tax. Those are more controlled through the national government, but goes to service our municipal obligations in terms of securities, short-term, long-term bonds. So we don't touch that funds any at all. That goes directly to central bank. So the reliance on property taxes, trade licenses, liquor and traffic fees are the heart of the city revenue streams. And that on an annual normal basis would amount to like 28 million per year. And so, and mind you, on the expenditure side now you have the operational expenditure. You have your staff salaries, you have your garbage fees, which is one of the biggest expenditure on our books. And then you have the day-to-day other operation. But you also have to be able to put a little amount aside for maintenance of streets, construction of streets, So it's a tight ship that you run. It's very tight. There are no room for error. There's when disaster strikes, it really sets you back as a municipality, and I speak, I believe, for most of the municipalities.
Yeah. One of the questions that we've been asking these mayoral candidates over the course of last month into this month has been, one, how they are able to share the finances, but also accountability. And I want to pose that question to you, Mr. Wagner, because I almost called you mayor, but I want to pose that question.
I'm a citizen Mayoral right now.
Yes. I want to pose that question to you as well, because you've had a total of 6 years in office and you're hoping for another 3 years. What are ways that you ensured to be transparent to the public?
Well, there are several ways, and I believe that our council has been one of the leading municipalities in respect to transparency. We have been able to put all our business minutes of our caucuses on our web page. Our financials, audited financials, as soon as they're completed, we are put on our web page. We want to go a bit further this term in respect to not only waiting on the audit, but really, because every month you have your P&L and you have your balance sheet, but it's not really an audited per se. It's just the accounting department producing it and forwarding it to the mayor to see where we stand.
Yeah.
How did we operate this month? We want to reach a point where those interim monthly P&L and balance sheets are uploaded to our website. We want to reach a point where we begin to have at least occasionally live stream the business of the people in our caucuses. That will lend to greater transparency. We have been at the forefront. Our Facebook page or social media page have shown every step, every event, every activity that we have engaged in has been on that, and we are proud of being able to say that our municipality has been the leader in transparency.
With 6 years in office, I'm curious to know what the campaign trail has been like interacting with persons at their homes. Have they been saying, you know, Mr. Wagner, you had 6 years, what, you know, you want 3 more? You couldn't do it in 6 years? What are they saying? Are they saying that they're happy with what you were able to achieve?
They are saying that we will stay on track.
Okay.
That is what they are saying. We will stay on track. We'll stay on track with the fact that this Belize City Council has been a journey. It has been a story. And if you take some time to go through our social media page from 2018, you'll see a journey, right, depicted by tenacity, by perseverance, by being resilient. We have been a council that has gone through crisis management. We were told from an early age, and I always say this to people, that Belize City would have failed within 6 months. It has been 6 years. We are still providing the service for the people. We have been big on ensuring that we drive economic activity within our municipality by having all the super sales, having the entrepreneurship program, the BCAP program, by having the community festivals. We want to build inclusive communities where people feel a part of those communities. But aside from that, we want to put people to work because we believe that the best social program is putting people to work. We are expanding physical infrastructure. We are expanding and really revamping the public transport system within the city. We are aware of the effects and impact of climate change, and that's why we are one of the leaders and drivers in ensuring that we begin to recognize the impact of greenhouse gases in our environment and in our atmosphere, and that's why we are We are driving the e-buses, the e-taxis. This is all a sort of a huge plan in recognizing the existential threat of climate change on us. And so we are a forward-thinking municipality, understanding that we have to look through a 21st century lens. We can't be looking back. It has to be about forward thinking.
So while I hear you, some people would probably argue, well, you're a bit slow to start, especially if we're talking about the e-buses and what have you, because that's been on your to-do list for quite some time. And while the buses are here, it comes at the tail end of your second term in office, right? So some people would say, well, yeah, we get it, but we only get 2 and we get it in the last 2 months, as opposed to, you know, somewhere in the middle or at the very beginning. And I totally understand that certain things take time. I want to go back to the manifesto and how realistic these targets are. I read something yesterday where part of the plan is to construct a boardwalk in the foreshore area, right? And while that sounds all grand and everything, when you look at the revenues generated by Belize City and you look at some of the other priority areas in terms of your financial responsibility to keep things running, is it practical that we would be able to realize some of these objectives on this agenda within the next 3 years?
It's about building stakeholder confidence, and that is why I continue to re-emphasize the importance of working in tandem with the national government. The boardwalk will be a collaboration with the Belize Tourism Board. It's all a part of the rejuvenation of the downtown walking area and visiting the House of Culture. But now it will be an access along the southern foreshore, right from in the neighborhood of the Bliss for the Performing Arts, straight along to the House of Culture. It's to be a tourist attraction. And so we are big, and we know that we can recognize and realize that part of our manifesto, because it's been collaborated. Many of the other activities within the manifesto, we have to begin to look beyond just the city revenues. We have to look about driving development through PPPs, public-private partnerships. The national government is big on that. Actually, they had a session just last week where I attended on the development of the entire core system of PPPs development in the country. And we want to be able to access those type of activities where you have the private sector and the public sector working hand in hand for greater development in any modern city.
Mr. Wagner, I want to give you an opportunity to talk a bit about the team that you are taking with you tomorrow. We have seen some new faces. Let's talk a bit about the team that you have here with you.
Yeah, we have a we have rejuvenated the team actually with 5 new candidates, and we have the next 5 returning. That is our Deputy Mayor, Alan Pollard. We have our 2 female, Stefan Kaya. We have Javier Castellanos and Edmond Kwan coming back. But alongside the newcomers, we have Elwood Miller, bright young man.
He's been at your side at City Hall for several years.
He has
too,
been
so
my personal aide, and so he has gotten a really back view and front view of the workings of the...
Was it your encouragement to push him in the ring, or?
No, actually he has been a servant of the people for many years. He used to be the president of the University of Belize student council, I believe. He used to be a young man who come in on Mayoral and play ball, and we always used to hang out. And I tell him one day, when he graduated, come and work at the city council. I'll tell you a story about him. And he started as an intern at city council. We quickly saw he worked well, and we put him in the finance department. And thereafter he propelled himself, and we advanced him. He has been my aide, so he's a really bright,
And he's young.
and he's pretty young,
Yeah.
pretty young.
Isn't he one of the youngest?
I believe he's the youngest.
Yes.
I do. And we also have Sherwin Garcia, another young guy from the south side. Has been a part of my Belize Bank Bulldogs program. I brought him up from a kid. Coming along, we have Malcolm Nunes, who's the son of former mayor Marshall Nunes. We have Evan Thompson.
And he came from a third party.
Evan Thompson. There's nothing wrong in coming from a third party. There's always room. There's always room for coming under our tent. We are a welcoming party, and we welcome new ideas. We welcome people of different views into our party, and we have Dorian Usher, who is the son of the Minister Gilroy Usher. So we have a good blend of youth, blending with the senior councillors that have been there. I think Deputy Palada and Castellanos have been there for 3 terms.
Yeah.
Well, going on for 3 terms now. They are senior councillors. It's a right mix. I believe we will be able to really drive development and capture all the different demographic in our society, the youths, women, the business community, the corporate Belize. It's always important to be able to capture a wide audience.
Yeah.
The past 3 years have seen your leadership of the Belize City Council and the 10 councillor candidates that you would have had oversight of, and you're dealing with personalities. There were times when some of those personalities made news. What is the lesson that you would have learned in terms of management and dealing with people who come from various backgrounds, people who have different personalities in the way they go about doing their respective duties? What is the lesson learned from that you will take forward with this fresh team?
You have to, in all families you will have disagreements, right? It's always good and healthy. Always healthy when you have disagreements. Nothing will run smooth. You may want it to run smooth as you want, but at some point in time you reach the rocky roads. But out of those rocky roads and out of those challenges lies opportunities, and lies opportunity where I can hear where you are coming from. I can feel your pain, and I understand your pain, but it's always about communication. Let's talk about it privately. Let's discuss the issues that you are facing. It's about maturity, right? And understanding that it's a team. There's no I in team. You have to be a team player. You have to always understand that this team will not go anywhere if you are not a part of it, or if you do not support it. Let us do the quarrels and the misunderstanding inside the house. And when we leave there as a united front, as a united team. That is the main lesson from what we experienced this past 3 years, that if you as an individual put the team ahead of yourself and ensure that every decision that you make is for the team, then you will have no issues. You'll not run into any problems. I, for one, am a team player. I always tell them that when you all make mistakes, it's a mic that is put in the mayor's face. And I have to respond. And this is what I'm trying to always, especially with the young ones, I'm telling you, you have sat from afar for the past 3 years, and you see the success, and you have seen the failures. So you should learn from the mistakes, what happened in the past. History teaches us lessons each and every day. If you don't learn from history, you repeat the same. And so the young ones coming in have so much living examples right in front of their eyes to see that if I go down that road, then I'm heading down the wrong road. If I go down this road, I'm heading down the right road. And if I put my team ahead of every single decision making and not deal with the external forces, because there are external forces pulling you. There are 10 era reps that have needs as well. They have their needs and they want things done in their area. And that is not bad. That is not bad. That is what an era rep should do. They should want things for their people in their area. And so they will come to the different councils. And once the council member see that it's a good sort of initiative and you bring it to the caucus and the caucus vote collectively, fine. But the bottom line is you must serve the city. That is your key and core responsibility.
Mr. Wagner, I'll give you this opportunity to voice some last words. This is your camera, and there you'll see that we're giving you an opportunity to speak to the people of Belize City and talk about why they should vote for you and your team tomorrow.
Yeah, I want to really reach out to all the voters. Tomorrow, in my view, is Super Wednesday.
Super Wednesday.
Super Wednesday. And I've been across many constituencies all across the city. I may have not been able to reach. We have 735 streets all across the city. I may not have been able to reach your neck of the woods, but we want to continue the development of the city. We believe that we have the right team. We have a national government in place that will work hand in hand for the development of each and every one of your communities. We were able to conquer over 100+ streets in less than an year. In our manifesto, it speaks clearly of what we intend to do in terms of physical infrastructure, but we never forget the social infrastructure, always be about the people. And we want to continue all those activities that we have in the summer. Our student hub, we want to plan to expand our student hub. We want to expand our youth shadow council, our child advisory body, our youth connect hub in the summer. All the baking and the swimming and the volleyball and the basketball that we do in the summer. Our super sales will expand. Our community festivals will be rich. And we want to continue to drive arts and culture in our city. The city is not all about streets, drains, and garbage. It's about the people. Always about the people. So remember that tomorrow, Super Wednesday. Your mayor is out.
All right. Well, there you heard it. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. This time, we'll be speaking with the mayoral candidate for the United Democratic Party. Stay with us. We'll be right back.